What does it mean to be an American? Is it celebrating every 4th of July? Or simply a love for apple pie? Or is it the founding fathers and the documents they've created? Throughout history, to be an American meant to fight for your rights. And not much has changed from that uniquely American concept. The Declaration of Independence states that all men are created equal, but the fight for freedom still exists. In 2015, over 200 years after the Declaration of Independence was written, the Supreme Court granted the right of marriage to same-sex couples. It has been a politically divisive issue, with politicians and celebrities alike commenting. So the question then becomes, how long after this freedom is granted does the fight continue? And is this fight for justice simply what it means to be an American?
A really important part of the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence is that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
I think we've, as a country, have taken that statement and we live by it. We all know it by heart. All men are created equal. And now we've expanded that as a people to include sexual orientation.
Expanding equality to homosexuals has caused plenty of controversy and differing opinions.
Marriage was defined by God a long time ago. Marriage is almost as old as dirt, and it was defined in the garden between Adam and Eve, one man, one woman, for life.
Well, it's interesting because if you go back thousands of years, in a lot of cultures, it was acceptable. It wasn't looked down upon.
The idea is that this has been part of the human condition, is part of being human. And we have documented evidence that it's been part of being human as long as we've had human history. So it's always been there.
It wasn't really until the past 2,000 years, as we started progressing towards the modern era, that it became seen as something that was truly bad.
What you're seeing are homosexual people being denied the right to get married, being denied the right even to engage in their preferred sexual activity.
There wasn't even the freedom, the social freedom, for same-sex people to be in a relationship.
As of 2003, it was against the law in Texas for you to engage in private sexual behavior with someone of the same sex. They'd already ruled that married people had this right. And it wasn't until 2003 that the government weighed in on the idea that homosexual people, gay people, have that same right to private consensual behavior. And at the time when they decided that case, it invalidated laws in 14 different states. 14 states, as of 2003, still had limitations and laws basically saying that if you make love with your same-sex partner, you're breaking the law.
There were times just in the realm of child custody proceedings, a man and a woman were married and had kids, and during the divorce, there's evidence that the mother has been a lesbian. And judges have decided in favor of the heterosexual parent because they felt that being exposed to that element would detrimentally impact the children.
There are still states that try to limit adoption or that allow organizations to discriminate against gay families when it comes to adoption.
In the lifetime of students who are in high school right now, same-sex marriage has been legalized throughout all of the 50 states. It was a 2015 Supreme Court decision, Obergefell versus Hodges. It was a landmark and basically saying that no state can restrict the right of a person to choose who they want to marry.
Michael and I were already married at that point, but we were living here in Missouri, so our marriage wasn't legal in our own state. So for us, that was huge.
That's been a really big equalizer of sorts, but it doesn't level the playing field completely.
Really, when we look at laws, that's the only big legal change that has happened.
There are certain protections in the workplace that prevent discrimination on the basis of sexuality, but you have to be working for an employer of a certain size, otherwise those federal laws don't apply to you.
Although a few laws have been created to equalize homosexuals, they still face challenges in society today.
What I think the gay community is really dealing with is like being uncertain where they're going to experience that bias
My husband and I, we won't ever hold hands in public, and we've been together for 11 years. But it's just, you get the looks of disgust when we go out and eat as a family, because we have 4 kids. I'll never forget the first time our daughter was 4. She came home from preschool, and one of the kids at preschool had told her that it was gross that she had 2 dads.
It's so hard to feel like an equal member of society if you can't be your authentic self.
Looking to the future, many believe this fight for American freedom must continue.
My hopes are what they've always been since I knew I was gay at 10 years old, which is just that it wouldn't matter at all.
So my hope is we can learn and we can keep growing. And so it'll be a true statement, and liberty and justice for all.